Hi everyone, welcome back to the service videos. We're on to the 6 monthly checks now. So things like the engine oil service replacement and greasing suspension components amongst a load of other good stuff. So yeah, thanks for sticking with me, and as I've said before, hopefully you're getting something from this. The notable difference from these videos for me will be to do with the distributor and the timing sort of stuff. Because this is the single point injection model, most of it's controlled by the ECU, so I'm limited to what I can do with the timing, the distributor, etc. So I'm not going to cover any of that in this video because of the model, so apologies for that. But if anybody's got any comments they want to add in, or if they want to add any videos, if they can send videos to me through the email address, I'm happy to add things in at the end. Yeah, I'm by no means an expert. There's people out there that know far more than me, and the whole point of this channel is just to share what I'm doing and to help anyone out there, and for anyone to help me out. So let's get into it. 6 monthly checks, and after that we'll be moving on to the yearly checks and then the 2 yearly checks. So let's get going. Right, so we're going to be changing the oil in the oil filter on the Mini, and this is the stuff I'm using. So it's classic Mini oil, 20 weight 50. The reason I use this is because it's mineral oil, it's kinder on the rubber parts, the rubber seals, and also it's a bit thicker so that it benefits the actual fact that the gearbox shares the oil with the engine. And obviously to go with that, the oil filter. So let's get this oil changed. First we need to get the engine run up to temperature, which I've done. Get it jacked up and on level ground, which I've done. And get all the bits and pieces I need to drain the old oil out. So yeah, let's get the old oil drained. Right, so we've had the engine up to running temperature, it's jacked up enough, it's on level ground. We just need to get this drain plug out. This is a 21mm. We're going to catch the oil on this, and the oil's obviously quite hot and thin because it's been running. Oil's bad for your skin, and obviously there's the burn risk, so always wear gloves. And as it starts to loosen, just keep it with your hand pushed in till the last minute, then pull it away, and it should drain out nice and smoothly. What I always try to do when I take it out by hand is stop the drain plug falling in the oil, and also try and stop the seal and washer behind it from falling in, but if it happens, it happens. So as you can see from this one I bought the last time, the extra long drain plug with the magnet attached, so it basically gets deeper into the sump. You can see how smoothly it's running out here. That's because it was heated up. So basically what I do is I'll just let that drain until it's completely drained out. So when it gets to like a little slight trickle, I want to wait till it stops, but all I'm going to do is just put a tiny bit of oil in the top, and that just basically flushes out any of the dregs that are sitting there. Right, once it's emptied, it's just a case of putting this back on. I've got a new sump plug washer here. I tend, it's good practice just to always fit a new one. Right, now that's tightened up, it's just a case of getting it torqued up. Torque setting for this is 35 Newton meters, or 26 foot-pound if you prefer that. very tight at all. So that's that side of it done. It's drained. We just need to now get the oil filter out. The oil filter sits right there, so we've had to take the grill off to get into that. Right, so we need to get the old oil filter out here. Sometimes it will come by hand, but most of the time I've found that you need a tool. So the tool I've got is this. Basically sits on it, you turn it, and it squashes it and turns it loose. Biggest problem being access, but we'll get around it. So from underneath, and then once it's turned a few times, it should just come by hand. Don't forget to put the container underneath, because there will still be oil in this. Right, so fitting the new oil filter goes on the exact same way. However, you do need to put a smear of oil on this rubber here just to make sure it seals properly on the bracket there. And you won't need tools to put this on, it just goes on hand tight. Quite tight, but not tight enough for tools. Right, we now just need to fill the oil back up, so do it very slowly and bit at a time, otherwise you'll get a backlog and it'll come up through the rocker cover there, and so that it free flows, we take the dipstick out as well. So I'll fill that up, let it settle, fill it up, let the engine run, keep checking the levels, and that's pretty much the oil change done. Just keep an eye on it over the next couple of days for the level, and if it needs topped up, top it up. Look at the oil that came out here. Good point is there's no any metal in it, but still quite dark for only being about 500-600 miles used. But the new stuff's going in, so that's the oil service done, or the oil change done. So visual checks for leaks and cracks and deterioration in the bonnet area. So basically, because of the heat of the engine, after time it can lead to deterioration, cracks or splits on, you know, the rubber parts or the plastic parts here. So it's just a visual check, going around as much as you can to see if there's any deterioration. The water system, check where obviously all the joins, you'll see slight things at times, as you can see there already. The gasket will be needing replaced at some point. So you're basically, all of these hoses on here are fairly new, so they should be quite good. But what you're checking is, this is silicone, but the standard's rubber, so you're checking for any splits, any leaking, and you're checking that throughout most of the engine bay. So the top bottom hoses on the radiator going back down here all the way back into the matrix inside. You're checking for any wet areas. You're also checking the fittings to see these are nice and tight, there's nothing leaking through there. You're not always going to get leaking dropping into the ground from these areas, because the most likely time for the cooling system to leak is when the engine's on, because it's under pressure. And if it leaks when the engine's on and you're driving, the heat from the engine's going to evaporate the water, so you're going to know that if you're losing water from the radiator, you've got a leak somewhere, and these visual checks can help out. So you're looking also for the water pump here. See the white discolouring and rusty discolouring shows that there's slight seepage there from somewhere. So yep, check the water system as much as you can, and then we're going on to things like the vacuum hoses, all the plastic vacuum hoses, checking to see if there's any splits anywhere in it, anywhere in these end parts here. It's hard at times because there's not much room to check things, but you can only visually check it best you can from the top and then from underneath. So you're checking as much as you can from the top. If you need to remove the air filter unit just to get in and check things, yep, that's fine, do that. Once you've checked from the top, this is on ramps at the moment, you can go underneath and you can check for leaks coming from the underside. This is where you'll see oil seeping down. You know, you do get seepage from a Mini, the A-Series engine does leak. The system here doesn't lose an awful lot of oil and it doesn't drop into the ground, so it's just a case of checking to make sure that there's a bit there. See, most of this oil has come from the oil being changed, so it just needs a good clean, to be honest. But yep, you're checking under here to see what you can see from underneath that you couldn't see from above, and you're just checking as much as you can visually. If there's any leaks coming from anywhere, then you just work back, try and get in and find out where they're coming from. Fairly basic stuff, but you know, it does need done. If you can find a problem now before it becomes a big problem and your engine ceases, then you've saved yourself a lot of time and money. Right, so the rear has got two grease nipples, one on either side, and it's on the end of the radius arm in here. These can corrode quite a bit. I've never had any real problems getting it off, but they can be a pain at times. I've basically used a wire brush to get this clean and some WD-40, and it's good practice if it's in this state just to replace the actual bleed screw, because they're pennies and like I say, they corrode quite a bit. Like that. The new one being nice and shiny. So basically this just screws back on here. So you can check to see if it's blocked. It shouldn't be blocked unless anything's got inside, but the bleed nipple stops anything getting in. The grease nipple stops anything getting in. But you can have a wee feel in here with something, and then you can see the grease on the end there, so I'm quite happy that's filled with grease. The grease actually looks like it's been well maintained, so I'm quite pleased with that. But these need to be kept greased, otherwise they wear away and it gives a terrible handling. It doesn't have to be super tight, just nipped up. And then it's just a case of getting the grease gun over it and filling it with grease till it starts coming out the edge. So that's it been greased up. This has been nipped up, and that's it for another few months. Right, so the front suspension requires greasing the same as the back, but unlike the back, which has only one, this has got 3 greasing points as follows. I've cleaned it up so you can see it a bit better because it was a bit grimy under here. So the top arm here has a grease nipple right here where my finger is. See that? The second grease point is the top ball joint, which is this point here. And the third and final one is the bottom ball joint, which is in here. So I'm going to do with these, I've got grease nipples there, I'm just going to replace these ones for new ones just in case these are clogged. They do look fine, but they're pennies when I've got them, so they're getting changed. So you can see I've replaced the 3 grease nipples, one there, and one there. This one just had a straight one on. It's supposed to have an angled one just for easy access. So now it's just a case of getting the grease gun popped on and getting them pumped with grease. Similar with the back one, the grease gun just pops over here, keep pumping. You'll know because you'll know when it's full because grease will come out here and it'll come out of the rubber parts here and here. And for the top arm it'll start coming out this area here. So you can see how I said it comes out here and it's also popping out round here as well. So that's full with grease, so that one's fine. It's just a case of me doing the other two the other side, and then that's how easy that job is. Right, so I've got the wheels off just to do a visual check of inside the drum. What I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen the drum off so it's quite loose so the drum can pull this way. Once that's loosened off, as you see me doing on the 3 monthly checks, I'll be getting this off, and in theory it should just come out, but it might need a little tap or a little bit of prying just to get it. Sometimes it can stick on the wheel nuts here, the wheel bolts here, sorry. So yep, let's see if we can get this loosened off, taken off, and have a look at what it looks like inside, all in one go hopefully. So when we're in here, what we're looking for is the amount of wear left on the shoes here on both sides. Also check in the condition of the springs, make sure nothing's snapped. What I will do is just give it a blow out with the compressor just to get all the brake dust and soot gathered there. And obviously we're checking in the wheel cylinder to see if there's any leaks. Just for the 6 monthly checks, it's only a visual check just to make sure everything's in order. And then it's fairly straightforward. They don't always come off that easy, the drums. As you'll have seen if you watched the video I done with the rear subframe strip on Eleanor, but yep, that one came off easy, and quite pleased with the condition of everything in here. So it's just a case of giving it a clean up and getting it all back on. And that is the visual checks for the rear brakes. Right, the Mini, we all know the Mini likes to rust. It's got external flanges attaching the panels everywhere, and it's got joins that are rust traps basically. So we're going to just do a walk around the car. Doesn't matter where you start. I usually start at the front and work my way back, but I'm looking at all areas of the car. For example, this bit here, rust underneath. There's going to be some worse than others, but this, I've got a list of things that need attention. For example, the wing here coming down, the A panels are quite bad. The bottom of the scuttle's not too bad, I've seen worse, but you can see it's just starting to bubble underneath. Going to this door here, the door's getting quite bad on the bottom. So the check can be as thorough or as quick as you like. How much do you love your Mini? Mine's will be thorough. So be checking under the wheel arches. These have got plastic liners in, so they're not as easy, but most people that work with Minis know where they rust. You know, they know all the common areas. or the ones that go first at least. And you can see the paintwork on this isn't great. It's solid, but it has been touched up before, but you can see the signs just starting to creep through, and I plan to get to them to keep them at bay for a little bit longer because I love driving this thing. Obviously I've been around last year just touching up bits and pieces. It's best to do this once the car's had a wash because dirt can hide things. Going onto the inside, you can see the door steps are a terrible point for it. My one needs work. I done a temporary fix on this just to keep the water from leaking, because what was happening was the water was getting down here. It was going inside and coming through the floor there. So I've got big plans for this and my other minis, as the regular subscribers know, and it will be getting done properly and I will be covering it. So yeah, body work checks, they should be getting done quite regularly. So we're going to lubricate the hinges on the bonnet, the doors and the boot. Keep them nice and free and stop any nasty squeaking. I'm just using this multi-purpose oil, as you can see in front of me here, and it's just a case of going around the hinges, putting oil on the moving parts, and I'll also take a cloth so that I'm not getting oil on other things. So yeah, let's get that done. So starting at the front of the car and working my way back. So there you have it, everyone, that's the 6 monthly checks done. I will be back soon with the yearly checks, so look out for them coming up. I'm uploading some of the other videos I'm doing at the same time just to try and give a bit of variety. This will not be everyone's cup of tea, but I've always wanted to do this because I tried doing it a few years ago and that's when I lost all my footage on the computer. So yep, this is the second time I've been at it. So yep, as always, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers!